Welcome to Economic Frontlines, where we tackle the most pressing economic challenges facing our world today. I'm Michael Reynolds.
And I'm Emma Chen. Today, we're diving into a critical issue affecting millions of young people across the U.S. and Europe, the growing crisis of graduate unemployment and rising youth poverty.
That's right, Emma. Despite years of messaging that higher education is the path to prosperity, we're seeing alarming trends where graduates across developed economies are struggling to find jobs matching their qualifications and expectations.
The numbers tell a troubling story. In the European Union, while the average employment rate for recent graduates aged 20 to 34 in 2024 was 82.3%, there's enormous variation between countries. Italy sits at just 69.6%, while the Netherlands reaches 91.6%.
And here in the U.S., recent data shows the unemployment rate for college graduates between ages 22 and 27 has risen to 4.59% in 2025, a significant jump from the 3.25% rate in 2019. For the first time in decades, recent graduates are consistently experiencing higher unemployment than the general workforce.
That's a key shift in historical patterns, Michael. Traditionally, a college degree served as protection against unemployment, but that advantage seems to be eroding. Let's explore why this is happening.
The factors are complex, but a major contributor is actually the success of higher education itself. David Deming from Harvard Kennedy School put it succinctly when he said, "Graduating college no longer gives you a leg up, as recent cohorts have seen the highest graduation rates ever."
So the job market is saturated with qualified candidates, creating unprecedented competition for entry-level positions.
Exactly. And employers have responded by raising the bar. The skill requirements for entry-level positions are significantly higher today than they were a decade ago. Many jobs that once welcomed fresh graduates now demand several years of experience, creating a catch-22 situation.
Then there's the economic context. After the post-pandemic recovery, many economists note that the labor market is cooling. According to the Federal Reserve Bank of St. Louis, this cooling is disproportionately affecting younger workers. Employers are becoming more cautious with hiring, particularly for positions traditionally filled by new graduates.
And we can't dismiss the potential impact of technology. While some researchers suggest AI isn't yet the main driver of these trends, there's evidence that some employers are using automation and AI for tasks that entry-level workers used to perform.
This employment crisis is happening alongside another concerning trend, rising student debt. In 2024, U.S. graduates who took out student loans finished with an average debt of $29,890. That's a 2% increase over the past decade.
And that debt burden varies significantly by institution type. Graduates from private colleges carried an average debt of $32,806 compared to $25,549 for public college graduates. This coincides with many graduates reporting they've had to accept lower salaries than expected just to secure employment.
Europe presents a different picture regarding student debt. While the UK has a system somewhat similar to the US, with significant student loans, many continental European countries offer free or low-cost university education. However, even there, graduates are facing similar employment challenges.
This employment crisis directly connects to another troubling trend, rising youth poverty, particularly in Europe. According to Eurostat, around 24.2% of children under 18 in the EU were at risk of poverty or social exclusion in 2024. That's compared to 20.3% of people aged 18 and over.
Overall, about 93.3 million people in the EU, or 21% of the total population, were at risk of poverty or social exclusion. The highest rates were found in Bulgaria at 30.3%, Romania at 27.9%, and Greece at 26.9%.
And what's particularly concerning is that child poverty rates actually increased in 16 EU countries, while only decreasing in 9. This suggests the problem is getting worse in many places.
It's a vicious cycle. When graduates can't find suitable employment, they often delay major life milestones like starting families or purchasing homes. This perpetuates economic instability and can contribute to intergenerational poverty.
While both regions are experiencing graduate unemployment challenges, the social safety nets in place affect how this translates to poverty differently.
That's an important point. Many European countries have stronger social protection systems that can buffer young people against extreme poverty, even during unemployment. However, recent austerity measures in some countries have weakened these safety nets.
In the U.S., the social safety net is generally less robust, which means unemployment more quickly translates to financial hardship. And with that substantial student debt burden we mentioned earlier, American graduates often face particularly acute financial pressure when unemployed.
For instance, recent male graduates have been more likely to find work than their female counterparts, with the difference between them amounting to 1.8 percentage points.
And in both regions, graduates from certain disciplines, particularly those in STEM fields, healthcare, and specific professional services, tend to fare better than those from arts, humanities, and social sciences, though no field is entirely immune.
Now, let's pivot to solutions. What can be done about this growing crisis?
One approach gaining traction is creating stronger connections between education and employment. This includes skills-based training programs that directly align with market needs, rather than purely academic credentials.
The World Economic Forum has highlighted 3 effective ways to tackle youth employment worldwide: promoting youth entrepreneurship, providing targeted skills training, and creating opportunities for impact work.
Entrepreneurship is particularly powerful because it has a multiplier effect. When young people create businesses, they not only employ themselves, but potentially create jobs for others as well.
While 44% of businesses report difficulties finding talent with the right skills, millions of graduates remain unemployed, suggesting a fundamental mismatch between education and workplace needs.
Digital skills have become particularly important. The World Economic Forum emphasizes that policymakers, educators, and employers must address global shortages in digital skills and AI talent specifically.
Some experts advocate for a more comprehensive approach that focuses on 5 interconnected elements: economy, education, employability, equality, and ecosystem. This systems-based strategy aims to close the skills gap, reduce youth unemployment, and create pathways to decent work.
For individual graduates facing this challenging market, experts recommend flexibility in initial job searches, focusing on skill development even in positions that might not perfectly match degree qualifications, and maintaining realistic expectations about early career progression.
Educational institutions are also adapting. Many universities are now emphasizing internships, co-ops, and work-integrated learning opportunities to ensure graduates have practical experience before entering the job market.
Government policy plays a crucial role too. Initiatives that incentivize hiring young workers, support entrepreneurship, and provide targeted skill development can help address structural issues in youth employment.
Looking to the future, what's the outlook for today's students entering higher education?
While the situation is challenging, there are reasons for cautious optimism. The recognition of this crisis is prompting important reforms in education and employment policies. And despite current difficulties, statistics still show that across a lifetime, education remains a valuable investment.
However, expectations may need adjustment.
Flexibility and continuous learning will be critical. The days of a single degree leading to a linear career path are increasingly rare. Today's graduates should expect to continuously upskill and potentially pivot multiple times throughout their careers.
For parents and current students considering higher education, it's important to be strategic. Research employment outcomes for specific programs, consider the return on investment for different educational paths, and look beyond traditional 4-year degrees to alternative credentials that may provide more direct pathways to employment.
Policymakers need to recognize the severity of this issue. Youth unemployment and poverty aren't just individual problems. They represent a significant loss of potential economic productivity and can lead to long-term social challenges.
The research is clear on this point. Extended periods of early career unemployment can have scarring effects that persist throughout a person's working life, affecting earnings and career progression decades later.
This underscores why addressing the graduate unemployment crisis isn't just about helping today's young people. It's about securing economic stability and growth for the future.
As we wrap up, what message should we leave with our listeners who might be graduates struggling in this difficult market?
I'd emphasize resilience and adaptability. While the statistics we've discussed paint a challenging picture, individual outcomes vary widely. Networking, continuous learning, and being open to unexpected opportunities remain powerful strategies.
Many successful leaders faced setbacks at the beginning of their careers, only to find their stride later on.
For parents, educators, and policymakers listening, consider how you can be part of the solution. Whether it's mentoring a young professional, reimagining educational programs, or advocating for policies that support youth employment, we all have a role to play.
This has been Economic Frontlines. I'm Michael Reynolds.
And I'm Emma Chen. Thanks for joining us as we explored the graduate unemployment crisis and youth poverty challenges facing the U.S. and Europe.
Until next time, keep engaging with the economic issues that shape our world.